Hey team, it's Jay Song here. Welcome back to my chart room. And I'm so glad that you're here. We almost hit 200 subscribers as of the filming of this video. It seemed like just last week we were right about 100. We were about to hit 100. And I was really humble, and I'm humble again. So I'm very grateful that many of you are enjoying my price maps, the method that I draw with, using the sword method to use trend lines in a very special way to create price maps. We'll be going over Bitcoin, we'll be going over many price maps that people were asking for in the chart room. If you are not a subscriber to the Telegram chart room, the link is in the description. It's also right here. And we're going to be going over price maps and a recap of what's going on. And I need to share with you some important things about how some reaction points that we are expecting on price. So let's get right into it. So this is XRP on a daily chart. We do have some very interesting things to cover real quick. When you see a trend line that does not hard close on a daily chart. So this is the daily chart. So each one of these represents 1 day's worth of time. And these days close on in the middle of the day, but right here it's going to be 1 more hour. So this is going to be about 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So to me, it always feels like it's towards the evening and the afternoon, and then another candle starts. But I want to make you aware of something. So if we were drawing a trend line at major resistance levels, and we draw it exactly, okay. And yesterday I was letting people know about some trend lines, and if price does not hard close against that, there we go. That's exactly right. Okay, if price doesn't hard close against it, but actually closes above, like in the case of this candle came all the way up to this level, and it didn't hard close against it. Now, if it hard closed against it, I would expect the next candle to be a down bar because we're closing at a major resistance area, which would have been, these. Now, this is just a little, piece in the overall puzzle, but I'm just using this as how the principle works. For example, on this day, we hard closed right against that area. We touched it, we kissed it, came right back down. So the next day, we surely came all the way down to 59. So we came from 62 to 59.33, from 62.14. And then the next day, we went really, really high, as I covered in our other videos, but we did not hard close. We actually closed right above it. And so the same principle applies in certain areas. So the next support areas I'm actually looking for are when price curves and hits these dips. So kind of to show you what I mean, just bear with me. Here we go. Price comes up, comes down, comes up, comes down, comes up. This bottom, where it closes on the core of that, that's where I'm looking at right now. And the next green candle was certainly an up bar because we closed above. We were in this range. We pierced it, hard closed against it. That is significant and usually a sign of continuance. So the next bar was an up bar, but we didn't come through it today. The next bar, we certainly came through it, and now we're coming up on 59 minutes to go, and now we're looking at the previous tops. Now, on a daily chart, I'm going to draw these from now on. I'm getting a legend because people are asking me, what does my color codings mean? And before, when I was just trading and not sharing my charts, I didn't really worry about color coding them so much. I used a lot of thicknesses, but now that we have a team of people who are just constantly viewing my charts, and including you all on YouTube, I'm going to have a more stricter approach. So right now I'm using blue for weekly, trends, at hard closing points, and then I'm also using red for daily. These are both for horizontal points. Okay, so we have price that had come up, and if at the end of 58 minutes, if it closes above, that's a good sign. If it closes below, that means it has another day to decide what it's going to do. But if this candle, this long green candle, closes right here for the day at the very end of 58 minutes, I'm going to consider that generally a a bearish type of sign. it doesn't mean that price is going to reverse, but it could mean that price is just stalling, because right now we're battling against this upper resistance area. And this is the method that I use. I try to be very accurate with price candles. I have been watching price action for 19 years, and I'm very familiar with price enough to know that price likes to be very accurate. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And when it's not accurate, it usually is insignificant. So if price just closes like this at the end of this hour on a daily candle, I know it's very possible the next day we're going to either be in this range or up. But if it closes here, that's actually a sign that we may actually be experiencing a reversal. Now, either way, going into, we heard, as I told you in my last video, we were hearing many reports that from the prophetic community that we would be experiencing a very high move in the next 3 days. So today is going to be the last day for that, for a big movement. We've already experienced a big move right now, but I believe going into combining this with all of the stuff that's going on in the market. I believe that all the way up until around August 11th, we are going to be experiencing a very large XRP run. And the other thing is that I believe a decoupling has now happened between XRP and Bitcoin, because before they were operating very much in sync. But we're now having a moment where in the mornings, it's like training you to be ready for that overnight boom when XRP is really activated. We are going to be looking at some very big upruns. Now, I want to let you know today, the news for XRP is that Japan has launched ODL, which is on-demand liquidity, using RippleNet in Japan, the country. Now, some people are saying it's a test on the Coin Network. It is incorrect. It is not a test. It is live. And I'm guessing they will retract that very soon. But I'm expecting prices to hit its targets, and there's a few targets that price can hit and then rest. The first of which is this line right here, 78.91. So keep in mind that level. That level is on the weekly, so I drew it on blue as this. But in the grand scheme of things, again, if we were considering this a downtrend and this is just a blip in the grand scheme of things, so is this blue really that strong? We're going to downgrade it, just to enough to get our attention when our eyes are looking at charts. Here is a very long down run and straight back up before coming back down. So here is another stopping point at $1 and $1.0391. So this is about $1 now. Currently, price is sitting at 70 cents. So here's another 30 cents. So there's some definitely things to be looking for, and these movements that can happen over the next 3 days. I believe that they're just waiting on a good setup for price, and I believe that price is coming to those areas. So I'm just keeping you guys aware of the situation as we play this day by day. I am going to be going over some other charts, so I did let you guys know some things I saw. Drawing point, I want you guys to be aware of a few major drawing points. If I'm connecting this top to here, what I'm doing in this one is I'm connecting this core run right here and this core, and look at what price did. This candle meant that in this day, price started here, came all the way back down, kissed this support line, and then we went all the way back up and then came back down here. So during that day, price did sit on that. Now, is that significant? Well, if you look at another time when price did this, if we were drawing that core that I showed you from the other day, this really shows up on a 4-hour chart. This would be more accurate. There we go. Okay, I'll make this one white so you guys can see it. So if you look at this white, we had price went up and there was a core. We put it right at the core. We put it right at the core. Price went up, broke right at the sword cut. Here, price came down at that level, spiked through, hard closed against it. The next bar was a very long green up bar. We came back into this range, sitting on previous support. You could have drawn this like this by connecting these tops on the 4-hour charts, and it's good to spend time in these larger time frames so you have an idea of what's actually happening with price. We would see, you can see in hindsight, more and more resistance points that are flowing into price, and this just gives you more and more evidence that we are in an uptrend. So of course, right now we're coming back down. Let's see what was happening. I was telling people how to draw phantom supports, and I'll spend just a moment before we get into the other chart price maps. But if I take this price, I take this connecting these two bottoms, clone this, and I put this right on top, it gives me a support area. If we look now at the 4-hour chart, we can see that price reacted very accurately to that line, the phantom support area that we drew. And we went up, came all the way back down, kissed that area, and then now we are in this range. I believe we're going to be experiencing a reversal. I've been waiting for a reversal at those areas. As I've shown people in our chart room, that's what I'm expecting, okay? And normally you wouldn't be able to see this area. That's why you have to start with the higher time frames, and then you draw on there, and then you start looking down. And that's one of the essences of the sword method, is that you're cutting price, and you're seeing what levels really mattered, what really doesn't matter as much. Now, if I was looking at maybe a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute chart, I may think that something is super important when it's actually not that important. But if I'm staying in the higher time frames, you have a better chance, if you're going down to those lower time frames, to know the real culprit behind the biggest waves. And if you're concerned mostly about the biggest waves, you're going to be you're going to have a higher chance of success. So I still believe we are in an uptrend. Have we broken through for XRP? We have not. So if I'm drawing these bottoms here, if I was drawing them straight, they would look like this. And you can. And what I'm doing is I'm connecting the bottoms of these blues, the green candles, and let's make this as accurate as we can. And there we go. And what we're trying to do is get the essence of when price was reacting. So this one spikes through a little bit, but these ones were stopping right on it, and so this tells me that this is the most accurate. Okay, so you want to be as accurate as possible when connecting the swing lows here. Down, up, down, up, down, up. We are very far off of the trend line. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. And I think that because we are sitting in this area, if I was not already in and I was very bullish, which I am, which I'm already in, I'm already in, and I would be expecting price to pull back and come here. But things are acting very peculiar. Price is often moving overnight. Okay, again, I believe this is really to prepare the masses for when XRP does have its activation. I believe it will be overnight, as the comms have said, when price really activates overnight. But I don't think we're going to activate really until a few more months. I do expect some big runs and big ups and downs as time goes on. And I believe as we go into August, we're going to be seeing some crazy price action up and down. I believe that I do believe some of the things that are being spoken about prophetically about XRP, and that there will be a crypto winter, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities to invest and to reinvest, and I believe also there's going to be some opportunities to take profits. Not profits like prophetic, but profits. So those will be some great opportunities for you all in the coming days. There's some intel that's coming out saying that price can hit $101.20. Well, I don't see that just yet. Based on my data, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We need to see, and I do need to run. There is some calculations I'm going to be running to see if we can see any of those kind of targets, and we may hit those targets. We may absolutely hit those targets, but as of right now, I see these two, and so I'm letting people know what is in front of us that I just see. Okay, there are also some intel that price can hit actually $12. And that's very interesting as well. Which if you're on the run, if I was, this is not financial advice. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Trading does involve substantial risk. You can lose a lot of money. Never trade more than you can afford to lose. All I'm doing is providing you price maps in my chart room and on Patreon. So if you're in my Patreon, you're going to be able to log in to your account, and you're going to see my post all throughout the day while I'm making screenshots. If I'm not posting a screenshot and it's not a Sunday, it's because I don't think there's anything worth posting at the moment. These are 4-hour charts, so you got lots of hours where price is just doing nothing. And I also give you the maps well in advance most times, so you can understand that what I'm expecting, what I'm actually looking for. I told people I was looking for prices to hit these targets a few days ago. It hit those targets. Now I told people, hey, I'm thinking price is going to come back down here and pull back. And sure enough, during the day, all day long, we've been slowly pulling back, and then we came up. So not just that, but if you haven't joined me on Patreon, you can. It does, I believe, it does require a donation of any dollar amount. If you really appreciate the time and effort that I go into making these videos, that I go into sharing my maps and creating the maps for all types of cryptocurrencies, and you appreciate the time that I'm spending with you, teaching you guys how to draw your own maps on prices to help you make a better financial decision, no matter what type of technical analysis you use. I'm very glad that you also be a blessing back into my life, and I think I really appreciate that. So far, we have 12 patrons as of today. So I'm really grateful to all of you who wanted to drop something in the bucket. And I'm really grateful for you. May God bless you abundantly for sowing a seed into me in my life. Let's go right into some other price maps. Okay, Bitcoin on July 27th, which was yesterday, we had price reacting on in a parabolic way. Let's go ahead and edit this, and I'll show you on markup. So we had price coming and doing this, and when we see this, we draw it so we can know. Now, this is a curve up, so the steeper price that the curve goes up, the less room price has to boom up. It can boom, but there comes a point when it phases through and then it could fall. So we have to be aware of that, and that's Bitcoin. But because we are so far away from that, I was bullish Bitcoin yesterday. And so that was the first chart I wanted to show you. Okay, and here is Bitcoin today, July 28th, this morning. You can see that Bitcoin came down to the parabolic curve and has been bouncing up and down it. There is only so much room that either Bitcoin needs to go up or needs to phase through. And as we saw today, if we were to look at price right now, we can see that Bitcoin did phase through. However, there is a support right here at this level from the previous 4-hour top, and price came up and hard closed against that area. So that's an important point. Price came down, we passed through it, and you can see here's another example of how when we pass through it, even if we just pass through it just a little bit right here, price will go generally have a chance for continuation without having to stop and pay the toll, so to speak. Price did come back down right to that level, right about here, and then price jumped up, but we did go down as well, spike through. Where will what will happen right now? Well, price can form new tops at these areas. It could very well do that. But is this area alone strong enough to bounce it up to higher levels? It's possible. It is very possible. But it's also possible we can come down sharply. And if we come down, we may even pull back down to 38,124 before coming back up. So that is something, these are things that are still in play. Okay. So we got to watch how price reacted. Oh, and here's another example of what I was talking about earlier. This was the sword cut. Price went up above it, closed, and then now it became a support area. So whereas before it would have been a resistance area marked a long time ago, now it becomes a support area. Price came down, sat on that line, then came back up, tried to go through it, tried to go through it, tried to come up, and then it went up all the way up to this target. Once it hits the target, it kissed the target and came back down into the area. But the overall support of this curve is very strong because we're getting the momentum of all the buyers in this area. So when you can locate those trends, that's really good. Another warning of Bitcoin, which I told people, is that if you look at RSI, the relative strength index, as I talked about in my other video, we are now sitting underneath the cut, the sword cut of RSI in an oversold area. We are above the 70 marker. So this is oversold. This is a strong indicator that this run may be over. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin comes down in over the next few days. Now, normally Bitcoin is a good indicator of XRP because they've been in sync. But again, I just believe that things are happening this coming month, and now until this coming month, that I'm really leery about just normally trading that. Like if I was really trading those and just exiting. I don't know if I'm ready to just sell my XRP so quickly just because it's very high danger news time that I believe things are happening with the deposition, with things coming out that's behind closed doors. Um, with activation in different areas, there's just some things, and I'm not sold, and so I can't tell you what to do with your XRP and your Bitcoin and everything like that. But um, we're getting mixed signals on Bitcoin, so I will tell you that. Let's go over a few others. All right, XDC. XDC, what do I see on XDC? Well, I believe XDC is set up for a major run on this daily chart. Again, if you've never seen a daily chart is every one of these candles is one day. If we are connecting the major tops for this trend line, I'm connecting this top, and this top. All these two core to cores, and we don't need to bend it here, but when you see it straight, you mark that point where it cuts, where price finally breaks through, where that price breaks through. All of the people who are selling here and selling here and selling here are now out of the majority of them are out of profit. Okay, so they were shorting price there, and now they are out of profit. So they hope for a recovery. If price ever comes down, they're going to complete their transaction. So if they're selling here, that means they're going to be buying at that pain point. And that is one of the main principles of the sword method, because we draw cuts. And this is the golden thing. When we see price make a wide arc and then sit down and bounce, and you could see price bouncing off of this area in an area that it should, that's a very strong indication that price will continue. But if you were trying to draw these trend lines here, you would have drawn them maybe this one to this one. Let me change the color so you can see what I'm doing. If I was drawing this red, but then it doesn't touch these ones at all. So maybe you would take another trend line and you would try to draw it from maybe that one to that one, but then it doesn't touch these ones, and price can go up, and price is going up. So what does that tell you? When you start seeing these things, it tells you that price is moving on a parabolic type curve. And if you don't have a parabolic tool, you can always draw these fans, but it's better if you have access to a parabolic tool, because then you can actually see what price is really doing. And then you just got to make the curve make sense. Okay, so the curve is doing this, and we can see price today in live action. Price is actually closing, is hard pressing and hard closing. With 33 minutes ago, price tried to break through the curve and came up and stopped right on the curve. So that it means there's a high chance that the next daily bar is going to be an up bar. But already for XDC, we are in super good prices. So what is this? What is the current price right now of XDC? 0.0773. 0773. So I have shown you that this is a shortcut at full support. Okay, we have the big wide swing. That's what I like. That's what I need at a time where we have all this momentum. All of this area is sitting behind us. Okay, all of that. It's like a diving board. Boom, boom. That's what happens. Okay, that's what happens and you need, and I want you guys to see that. I want you guys to be aware of that. That I am expecting a price to come up to one to one 0.1873. 0.1873. Now, why do I expect that? Well, I just took the last run here, a trend line from here to the last run, and being conservative, putting at the core point, okay? And then I duplicated that line and I moved it to the top of the entry, which is the sword cut right here. And I just leave it and see where it puts it at, and it puts us at 1.1873. So there is a natural momentum that can flow all the way up until that time. And I think that's exactly where we're going. I think we're going to that range. So I put a gray. So if you were looking to exit, I'm not saying a short at that. I'm not saying that. Their price may actually go through. It may come and sit on top of that. We need a sell signal for that. Price would have to give us some sort of signal. But it's very possible in the next few days we can see a massive to 18 cents. That's 18 cents. So we're under 1 cent. And I'm saying it's very possible for us to go to 18 cents. Now, is that really crazy to believe that? Well, not really, because look, right here, what is this? We were at 0.05 cents. Oh, we're not under 1 cent, sorry, 0.07 cents, 7 cents. We were here at 0.5 cents, and we went all the way up to 12 cents in less than 5 days. It is not unimaginable, especially if you understand how price sets itself up. Well, I'm telling you guys, price is set up. So unless price really phases through here and then does something different, but I would need some cuts on top of that. But none of these are cutting each other. They're all supporting each other. So when you see price supporting each other, I'm looking for that same curve that I showed you guys in Bitcoin happen again. So be looking for that. This is the update for Doge. Let's cover Doge, Dogecoin. I see that on the 4-hour chart of Doge, we are sitting under a major cut, and price had bumped up, came down to that cut, came up again, and now sat down in the same cut area. And it's very clear if you turn on a Heiken Ashi candle, you can turn on regular candles, and you'll also see it as well, but it may not pop out your eyes as quickly. So we are in a range where we are sitting on top of that area. We don't have the curve support like we do in XDC. In fact, this one's curving a little bit more this way towards the downside. So it's possible we can come back all the way down to 19 cents and then see the pop up. But at any rate, we are sitting on top of more and more supports. So if I were to draw like a straight line here on the 4-hour chart, and I'll just leave it as like a blue, so you can see we are sitting on top of those lines. And so these are just more good signs that we can be experiencing the up move. Now, where is the roof for this? If we were expecting a roof, well, I still believe it's right here at 30 cents, because I do see the parabolic curve here at that area, and it does form a cut. And that would be the next main resistance levels. Okay, that would be where I would expect a main resistance level. Okay, we'll do some more analysis on it later, but I'm just trying to go through the maps quickly. We have not taken off. If we take off more, I'll give some more concrete evidence about the 30 cent mark. We'll see the stops along the way, but I just kind of pointed out just a few stops along the way that could affect price. Here is one at 0.2431. This is when I had drew. This is going to be the phantom support here. This is a dynamic line. As of right now, according to price, this is at 0.2563 cents. So we may bounce at that line, come through or come off on top of it. But that would be where the phantom support is. And as I was explaining earlier about the phantoms, remember you take the bottoms of the runs and you put them on top. But I drew this phantom on the daily chart. Okay, so that's why if you're having trouble drawing it, draw it on the daily. You're going to see that the bottoms are very easy to draw, and then you now have those secret levels that nobody really draws, and yet price reacts surprisingly accurate towards those lines many times. Okay, so let's go on. ZIL. Let's take a look at ZIL. ZIL, when I give the analysis in the chart room, in the charts, we have been seeing ZIL hit its cuts in the past, hard closing against hard points. As you can see, we are having a lot of that with ZIL. And I do see a cut that has not been exhausted, and that is when I connect the bottom of this run here. Sorry, and I'm connecting these hard points. I'm seeing that we should have been having some support in this area, which we did. We bounced off of there yesterday. Is it enough to get to this cut area at 0.930? It is possible we can get up to that area. I think if we do get up to that area, we are coming down. I expect this. Okay, that's what I expect into this area, 0.0415. That's what I see. So if I was showing you guys the RSI, we did have some tops here, and then we hit another sharp curve, but now we're sitting on the underside of that. So we are in a buy area, but the overall trend is still down, and price may be actually forming some curved tops before we actually do anything. So getting a lot of mixed signals here. We could connect some of these here, and but as at the moment we're slowly going to be going upward, but not yet. So when price starts turning upwards, it starts making lower and lower highs, but lower lows, but it's also making right now lower highs. So that tells me that price is starting to slow down. We're coming back into the same range uh, right now. See how we came down here, went up, and then we came down. We didn't stop here at this area. No, we went back up into that area. So that's a sign that price could be slowly turning around. Whereas here we came down and hard closed and didn't come back into that area. Nor we did it with this. When we came to this area, we hard closed against it. We didn't get to come back into that area. It's like falling floor. But now we're in this. So it's very possible that if we fall again, we can be slowly mushrooming. Price does have to do that mushroom effect. As I told you guys, it to really turn, it does have to happen slowly, or price has to be doing that and then slowly bouncing, and then it can make its big up moves. Otherwise, if it goes up really quick, it can come right back down. It's not sustained. Price has to sustain itself. And for that, you have to have a correct setup. So if it was me, I would stay away from ZIL right now. There are much better options with the DOGE setup and with the XDC setup. If you were, looking to see what would be the best, with the fastest horse out of the gate, you're looking for setups, and setups happen all the time. There's always a setup in some market somewhere. Sometimes they take a long time. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Before I go, I want to show you one last thing about XRP and a possible dynamic support I had posted in our on our Patreon and on the Telegram group. I believe that there is some phantom support here. So if we were to take price action and connect those bottoms here on this blue line, and we duplicate that line and put it up here at the tops, it's going to show us another area. And the area that it showed us was that I believe that price would come up and kiss those previous daily support areas. Remember in the other chart, I had this as bright yellow, so you can kind of see. But here, I'm actually going to delete this one. We don't need that. That was actually a secondary support. This is actually the primary. But because price had already come down into this area and came up, it's possible now price can find a support at these areas. So what a phantom support is, it can represent a times when price will not get a second chance. And it is the second chance. It's the area in human psychology where people would feel that that emotion, to either complete their transaction or exit their transaction or sell or generate some kind of activity. And even though people say that the markets are very unpredictable, human behavior is surprisingly predictable. And if you are, especially if you're young and you are unaware of how long stocks have been on the stock markets and how long price has been charting, it's been a long time since the rice days of feudal Japan. Price has been charted. They used to chart rice, the price of rice. So when you see candlesticks, they represent human behavior. And that's why there's so many ways that you can really give yourself an edge in predicting the next candles or the next price action if you are paying attention to how price behaves, because it's not, humans act very, very predictable. Okay, so you can see that happen and it plays itself in their buying and selling of price action. So there's a lot of reasons why a phantom support would work. And for example, if you were selling here and then price went way against you, now you're just waiting to get your money back. You may end up closing your transaction, which means you have to buy. And what is the price you would actually buy at? Well, according to the waves of price action, it would be in this area. Where is this blue line? There's other things that happen at the blue line. You can also draw the sword cut. Okay, you can actually draw, and don't tell anybody my secrets, guys. But if you draw where price was cut, you can see that price reacts surprisingly predictable at these areas. Look at this. See that? These cuts are everywhere. If you know where to look, they show up all the time. Maybe not everywhere, but they show up all the time. Okay? And I want to make you guys aware of, I think that price will sit on this phantom support and find just a scoop, and the price is going to do this. This is what I suspect. Price came up, came into this area, scoop, and then go to its next target, 80 cents. And it could hit that in the morning. It's very possible it'll hit it overnight while you're sleeping. It's possible you're going to wake up and see another big push. And then I wouldn't be surprised if price pushes through. If it goes to that level, then, and it breaks through or comes and sits on top of there, then I'm expecting the next levels to be up here at 90. We may be even experiencing some bigger and bigger and bigger waves, because when price unfolds, that's usually how it does. As you can even see, the smaller waves. Look at just in the last few candles. If you look really closely, you can see that there was a wave and then a bigger wave, and now there's a bigger wave and then a rest. So it's a wave, a rest, a wave, a rest, a wave, and a rest. I think that's exactly how price is going to play out right now. And even though we are in this area, we formed another support, so that gives price more time to go up and up and up before it has to come down in a big way, if it does in the meantime. So these are all my maps, and I'll let you guys decide what type of analysis you are going to apply to your trades. I'm always grateful when you guys come and sit down and spend some time with me learning how to draw on your own on price and make your own maps. I'm very humbled that you are all watching these videos and learning some things. Remember that Jesus Christ, He's the one and the only. He's the Savior of the world. He loves you. He died for you. He offers eternal life. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. And the Bible says in John 3:16 that for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but should have everlasting life. He offers that free gift to you, friends. And thank you for being my friend. Thank you for sitting down with us. And please join me on the chart room. I would love to see you all there, make some friends, and have a great time. Oh, one last thing. Don't forget when you're in the chart room, click on my name. When you see me posting something, click on my name and you can immediately go to just my charts only and scroll through. If you're just new to the chart room, go ahead and click on the pin button. If you want to do that as well, if I haven't posted for a few hours, or you can just click on the top. It says pinned, and when you click on that pin, it'll show my last post. You hit the button pinned again, it'll start cycling through all of my last post, because I am the moderator, and I decide what gets pinned for that room. So you can see all of my last charts. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.